Hello guys, how are you?
I'm Hardeep Singh. Welcome back to your own YouTube channel. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test, and speaking, you got guesswork. Please, guys, participate in everyday listening and reading practice test to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell icon for the upcoming notifications. Don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams.
Part 1.
First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Good morning, Santon Sports Club.
Oh, hello. I spoke to one of your colleagues last week about becoming a member of your club, and I'd like to go ahead and join. If I can do it over the phone.
Absolutely. I'll start by taking a few details, if I may.
Of course.
What's your name?
It's Alex Coos.
Can you spell your surname?
It's Cooze.
Lovely, I've got that. And are you a student or in employment?
Employed.
Thank you. And can I ask, what's your job?
I'm a doctor.
Right, thanks. Now, we don't need to get your full address at this stage, but could I just take your postcode?
If I can remember it. I've only just moved. Oh, yes, it's GT1
Right.
and then 2BN.
Is that VN?
No, BN.
Sorry. Now, one last question in this section. Can I just ask how you heard about us? Was it from a friend?
Actually, I read about the club in a newspaper.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10.
Now, we do offer different types of membership according to which facilities you want to use and when.
Yes, I gathered that, but my schedule's a bit problematic. I mainly want to use the gym, and that'll be after about 7 p.m. when I finish work.
Fine, right. And will you be interested in swimming?
I understand you have both an indoor and an outdoor pool?
That's right.
I'm not a fan of swimming, actually, and certainly don't want to be there when it gets very packed in the evenings. I think I'd only want to use the outdoor one and during the day, when I can get a bit of sunbathing in.
And when the children are at school, of course, so it's a bit quieter. A lot of our clients prefer that.
I can imagine. And I might occasionally want to have a game of badminton. And I suppose I'd like to book courts on Saturdays and Sundays when I can organise a game with friends.
Right. And would you be wanting to use our other club facilities, such as the sauna, steam room or tanning bed? They're open all day until 9 p.m.
Well, I think I'd only want to use the steam room, and probably after I've been doing heavy exercise.
So, shall I put that down as evenings?
Sorry, no, I'd probably only use it on Saturdays, and the occasional Sunday, when I have more time to relax.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2.
First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15.
Hi, everyone. I'm a bit nervous about doing this, so, anyway, as you all know, I come from Libya, and I'm going to talk about sandstorms. Sandstorms are very common in the Sahara Desert, and so people in Libya, which is near the Sahara Desert, know all about them. Now, we say sandstorm, but it's not really a storm. There's no rain or thunder and lightning. There are sandstorms when a strong wind picks up sand and carries it. As the wind blows, the sand in the wind causes more sand to move around, and that is also picked up. A very strong wind can pick up a huge amount of sand. Look at my first image on the board here. As you can see, a severe sandstorm looks like a huge wall or wave of sand. Can you imagine that coming towards you? Now, I will tell you what you should do if you know a sandstorm is coming, or even if you get caught in a sandstorm.
Extract 2.
So, have you decided where you're going on holiday yet? You were talking about Spain.
No, we've changed our minds. We're going to Egypt for 2 weeks.
Wow, really? When are you going?
The second week in August.
Egypt in August? You're brave. It'll be absolutely boiling then, won't it?
Yeah, that's what I want. We'll go and see the sights early in the morning when it's still quite cool, and then lie around by the swimming pool in the midday heat.
I went to Morocco in the summer a few years ago. I couldn't sleep until about 2 in the morning. I always said that if I went anywhere like that again, I'd go in the spring or autumn.
Well, I can't wait. You just see my tan when I get back.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20.
Good evening, Professor Drake, and welcome to the programme.
Good evening.
Now, as we have heard, it appears that there are a greater number of hurricanes now, particularly in the Atlantic, and that hurricanes are becoming more violent and causing more damage. First of all, could you explain what causes a hurricane?
Yes, certainly. Hurricanes, or tropical cyclones as they are also known, are really huge storms, or a number of storms that occur together within a small area. They are caused by low pressure and moist air rising from the Earth's surface, usually the surface of the sea. As the moist air rises, it becomes warmer, and this is what forms the hurricane. If the hurricane is strong enough, it will develop an eye. The eye, which is circular, is at the centre of the hurricane and can be huge, 300 kilometres in diameter perhaps. The eye is usually calm. It is the area around the eye wall, where the storms occur. The eye wall surrounds the eye like the wall of a huge vertical passage, and is made up of the strong winds that cause the damage when the hurricane passes over land. Spreading out from the eye wall is the vast area of clouds and rain that we call the rain bands. These rain bands can spread for hundreds of kilometres.
Thank you for that, Professor. Now, why is it that the world is experiencing a greater...
Extract 4.
Floods occur when the water level rises in an area where there was previously little or no water. Floods can be dramatic. They occur suddenly and the water level rises quickly. Or creeping, the water level rises over a longer period of time. They occur either because there is a larger amount of rainfall in an area than is usual or because ice melts. Floods generally cause damage and negatively affect the economy of an area, but they can also be beneficial. The River Nile floods annually, and the water brings nutrients to the soil in surrounding fields. This, of course, means better crops. Most floods occur naturally, but they can be...
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
You will hear a discussion between a university lecturer and 2 students about a space food assignment. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
Come in, gentlemen. How can I help you?
Good afternoon, Dr. Anderson. Chen and I are students in your research methods class, and we're having some problems with our assignment.
Yes. You told me that on the phone. What was your topic again?
Food issues related to living in space.
What exactly are you finding difficult?
We can't find much information, and our presentation's in 2 weeks' time. We've done all the usual things, look online.
Go to the library.
We've even contacted the ESA.
The European Space Agency?
Yes, for its 2012 report.
Well done. What have you learnt so far?
Not much, I'm afraid.
It's going to take 3 weeks for the report to get to us. Too late for our presentation.
You can still use the data in your essays. By the way, how have you defined your topic? It needs to be clearer and more specific. I mean, food issues in space is a pretty big area.
We've decided on the nutritional value of food and the cost of food.
And food preferences, whether astronauts like chocolate or strawberry ice cream, for example.
What about the social aspects? Can you sit down to a meal together in a rocket?
Apparently, astronauts did in Skylab in 1973, and they do at the ISS, the International Space Station. We're focusing on the International Space Station rather than rockets.
Before you listen to the rest of the recording, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30.
All right. Now, you may not like this, but I find your considerations minor. Your research areas aren't that interesting or academic. How about looking into the future? How could agriculture, for example, be developed in space?
Well, as far as we know, there's no planet in our solar system with an atmosphere suitable to sustaining life. That's any kind of life, human or plant.
What about setting up an artificial environment? You might remember the experiments in greenhouse production here on Earth. There was a major one in Texas in 2006, and there's another underway in the south of England. The ESA should mention that.
That's an idea.
Of course, an alternative is importing food until a colony can produce its own.
That's what I meant about the cost. Flying food into space is very expensive, not to mention all the waste produced. Around 25% of the weight of food products for astronauts at the ISS is packaging.
Okay. Why don't you examine the logistics of sending food into space and bringing back the waste? Do all the maths on it since you're engineering students. This could be interesting.
I've seen a couple of articles already on feeding groups of people who are far from home.
Like soldiers?
Exactly. There have been lots of PhDs on the Vietnam War and food logistics. The use of container ships began then as a response to supplying so many men. Anyway, isn't it likely that moons or planets outside our solar system will be better for growing food? I think around 400 exoplanets are in the habitable zone, not too far for us to travel to. When might these be explored?
We're still waiting for the ESA report.
All right. I'd like you to spend tonight refining your research topic. Come back to me tomorrow. You've done some good work, but you need to focus. At this level of your studies, you should try to become experts.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson.
We'll see you tomorrow.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
You will hear a lecture on the paleontology of ancient birds. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. Well, it's certainly an exciting time to be studying paleontology at the moment. As many of you may have heard on the news, there has been a discovery in Kazakhstan which questions our beliefs about what lived on the Earth 100 million years ago. 2 bones which have been discovered in the desert belong to a huge bird named Samrukia nasovi that lived at the same time as dinosaurs. Up to now, paleontologists thought that dinosaurs and large birds did not live at the same time. Research suggested dinosaurs lived on the Earth first, died, and then large birds came along quite a long time after that. Until now, paleontologists thought that birds living alongside dinosaurs were only the size of chickens. So, how big was the bird? Well, the bones discovered are 27 centimeters long and are part of the bird's jaw, which means that its head was probably about 30 centimeters long. It's likely, then, that the bird was at least 3 meters tall and over 50 kilograms in weight. If the bird lived today, it would be bigger than an ostrich. This doesn't, of course, make it the biggest bird ever to have lived on Earth. The elephant bird of Madagascar, which was related to the ostrich, was much heavier, at around 500 kilograms. The giant moa of New Zealand was taller at nearly 4 meters, but neither of these birds are as old as the one found in Kazakhstan. There are many questions surrounding the recent discovery. The most significant one is, of course, could it fly? Unfortunately, as only the jaw bones have been discovered, it's impossible to answer that question. We just hope that more discoveries take place. If it did fly, the width of its wings was probably over 4 meters. I haven't mentioned yet that this isn't the first discovery of this kind. Another large bird, named Gargantuavis, that lived in southern France 70 million years ago, was discovered in the late 1990s. The discovery of Samrukia nasovi proves unquestionably that large birds and dinosaurs lived side by side.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So guys, don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test and speaking, you got guesswork. Please guys, participate in everyday new IELTS listening and reading practice tests to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. For more IELTS material, visit my official website www.ieltsupdatesandrecentexams.com. The link is given below in the description. If you need PDF files of latest IELTS material, then please join my Telegram channel. So guys, please write your score below the comment section. Again, thanks for listening. God bless you all guys. Stay tuned, stay safe.